is resilience? A quick look in the internet showed me that resilience is the ability to adjust easily and recover from adversity. But what is resilience to you? Well, to me, resilience is to keep going even when you see no way out, to keep trying even if you fail 1,000 times, to maintain a healthy mental and physical performance where you do not give up. You never give up. If I tell you that people have different levels of resilience, I'm sure you are not going to be surprised. You already know that some people have a difficult time to overcome hardships, while others seem to easily bounce back. So, is resilience in your genes? Is it part of your personality, of who you are? Or can it be acquired? In other words, can you learn how to become resilient? As a scientist with a background in clinical genetics, this was something that has always interested me. How much of us is nature and how much is nurture? With nature, I'm referring to the genetic information that actually builds you, that makes you. So you probably know that we all have 23 pairs of chromosomes, half inherited from your mother and half inherited from your father. And in these chromosomes, there are genes that contain information that basically determine our gender, if we have blue or brown eyes, blonde hair, we are, our height. But these genes can also contain information that predispose us to certain diseases, such as cancer, obesity, but also some neurodegenerative disorders. Nurture, on the other hand, refers to the environmental factors that shapes our experiences, our behaviors. So when I look at this, I was really interested. And one thing that I find amazing is that the environment can actually talk with your genes. It cannot change them, so don't be fooled by that. But it can definitely influence the way your genes are expressed. So this talk between the environment and your genes, it's called epigenetics, and it's especially important during childhood. So a few years ago, there was this documentary about identical triplets that were separated at birth and given for adoption. I don't know if any of you have seen it or are aware of this documentary, but basically it focused on the life of these three brothers, whom at birth shared 100% of their genetic information because they were identical triplets. But when they reunited in university, what you could see is that they were three different individuals. They might look the same, but they were brought up by different parents in different cities and therefore were exposed since an early age to different circumstances. One thing that these triplets also experienced was also different ways to deal with adversities. So it was known, the three of them, they all had a history of a mental disease. But for one of them, this was incredibly difficult to overcome. And in the end, he committed suicide. So here it is. With this, what do you think? Is resilience only molded by your experiences, by the environment? What do you think? How many of you think it's the experiences and the environment that shape us and that makes us resilient? Okay, and how many of you think that it's genetic? Okay, so I struggled as well with this question. So I went back and I looked into scientific manuscripts that have been peer reviewed and are published in scientific journals. And I found one study that actually analyzed 9,000 individuals. And what they found out is that resilience is without a doubt influenced by genetic factors. However, what they also saw is that resilience has an inheritable component. So this means that if one or both of your parents were known to overcome hardships in a positive way, the chances that yourself have to also become resilient dramatically increase. But this story becomes even more interesting when I tell you that several genes that have been described to be associated with high resilience have also been linked to psychiatric disorders. So, here it seems that your genetic factors can contribute to the risk of developing a psychiatric disorder, but also can make you become more, can make you more resilient. So yeah, how can this be? So here comes a very important player, and this is your experiences. So, for example, one individual, depending if he's exposed to a risk situation, and this of course hits the environment, and depending also on his personality, if he's more or less sensitive to this risk. Basically, what can happen is that likely he will have he will be more sensitive to develop or to become to yeah, how can I say it, yeah, to become the risk. So they will be more easily influenced by this risk, and therefore maybe you won't be able to overcome it, even if he has predisposition also to resilience. So here it seems that risk and resilience seem to occur hand in hand, and resilience cannot simply be seen as the flip side of the risk. Well, when I look of this, when I found this, I couldn't help in thinking about my own experiences. So I'm the oldest of two siblings, and I always thought of myself as being the responsible one, the one that was more down to earth, always worried about the future. While my brother, yeah, he likes to chill, and he really lives life at each time. And so he was always the cool guy, and yeah, I envied him for a long time because of his ability to look at life and for his easiness. But at the same time, I always look at myself as being much more resilient than him. We are very different, and I always thought, yes, I can. I'm much more determined. I can go for it. I can become. I'm definitely more resilient. But actually, I was the one who ended up developing an anxiety disorder. So how can this be? And yeah, maybe you might think, oh, maybe it's because you are a female and he's a male. Well, let me tell you that there is no scientific evidence that resilience or the stress-induced trauma can actually be affected by gender. But one thing that is known to be affected is by your experiences. And let me tell you that when we reach adulthood, we had very different experiences. I decided to move from my home country, Portugal, to come to the Netherlands to study, while he stayed at home with my parents. So of course, during this time that I've been here, I was here alone, and of course there was a lot of times that I had to overcome adversity by myself, whatever was happening, because in a lot of times that was the only thing I had, me. And you might think, yes, but that was your choice. And of course, I totally agree. That was my choice. But it was this choice that made me live incredible experiences that have made me who I am today. So, in my opinion, the experiences that we all live are the ones that actually mold us and contribute to us being more or less resilient. So what I think here is that we are all exposed to different experiences. In childhood, we don't have much control over the experience we are exposed to. But when we grow up, then we can make our own choices, and are these choices that actually will make us the unique individuals that we all are. So, if I go back to my question, is it resilience in genes or can it be acquired? In my opinion, I think that it's the overlap between your experiences, but also your genetic factors that can make you more or less susceptible to become resilient. But what do you think?